Man, oh man. AEW Dynamite continues to sink lower and lower week in and week out, and this was no different. This show was totally missable. It was a waste of time. It was a awful go-home show for Full Gear. And speaking of Full Gear, we will do the predictions for Full Gear. But we're not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this show because nothing really happened. And yes, it was a 3-hour show. I did not watch Collision. I don't care about Collision. It is unimportant. It is uneventful. It is beyond boring. Collision at this point in time needs to be canceled. It has lost the plot, or you could, Tony could have Collision be absorbed into Ring of Honor, and therefore you merge Ring of Honor and Collision together, and you can just call it Ring of Honor Collision, right? Or something like that, right? Or just call it, just leave it as it is, Collision, and just feature a bunch of Ring of Honor talent, including their championships. That's what I honestly would do. I wish that if Tony Khan was smart, he would do something like that. But he's not that smart, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and get into this review. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this show. It was garbage. So we kicked the show off with Ricochet. He came out. He said nothing. He just rambled on for like 2-3 minutes. Bobby Lashley came out. This led us into the first match of the night. Bobby Lashley qualifies for the Casino Gauntlet. He wins via the spear. Who gives a shit about this? Ricochet's been in AEW for about, a year and a half, and he's not really done much of anything. He's a straight up jobber. Just like how he was in WWE. No different. Just no different, right? So who cares about this garbage at all? Moving on from that, this leads us into, I guess, a promo by Shibata. He cut it in Japanese, not that third. Who cares? It's not important. He didn't say anything. Then this leads us into the Don Callis Family and Young Bucks stuff that they're doing, that whole ordeal. So basically, Don Callis gave the Young Bucks a really good entrance and everything. Gave them their old heel theme back that they've been using when they were heels. He called them Matthew and Nicholas. So this led into the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander defeating Skyflight, which is Scorpio Sky, who looks like Ricochet, but a little bit smaller, and Top Flight. So Darius and Dante Martin, the Martin brothers. So the heels win. So there's that. Who cares? So Josh Alexander, he locked in the ankle lock onto Dante, and Dante ended up tapping out. Who cares? The Don Callis family Don Callis wanted the rest of his family to come out there. He said the world's watching and waiting for the announcement. And the announcement is that Matt and Nick are going to join the Don Callis family. So Don then says that it's in the Young Bucks' best interest to join the family. But they're sheepish about getting an answer. So Don Callis says the AEW can be a dangerous place. Without a family, he hate to see what would happen to the Bucks if he'd hate to see what would happen to the Bucks with what happened to Kenny Omega. So Omega shows up, has a steel chair in hand. He cleans house for a brief moment. Then Josh Alexander gets Kenny into the ankle lock for a brief moment. Don then eggs the Young Bucks on to do the BTE trigger. They have some hesitation. Jurassic Express come out, they make the save, and that was it. So I don't give a damn about this. And for whatever reason, Jungle Boy had a damn vacuum cleaner. What the hell is this? What the hell is this nonsense? I don't care. Moving on from this. So this leads us into a backstage promo by Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. They talk about the blood and guts match from last week, and they're just focused on advancing in the women's tag team tournament. Whatever, And moving on from that, we cut into some sad news to where legendary commentator Bob Claude, he passed away. He was 95. I didn't know much about him, but I will say condolences to his family. Rest in peace, rest in power, rest in paradise. Rest easy, well, Bob. You will be missed. Rest easy. Moving on from that, my bad. This leads us into Shelton Benjamin defeating Speedball Mike Bailey. He qualified for the number 2 spot in the Gauntlet match, so it's going to be Bobby Lashley at number 1 and Shelton Benjamin at number 2. That's pretty cool there. It was a botched finish, so Shelton Benjamin dumped Speedball Mike Bailey on top of his head, on top of his dome piece, pretty damn hard. So they had to end up doing the finish again, and he ate a super kick that being Mike Bailey, and so Shelton Benjamin advanced. I'm like, damn. So it was crazy, but for whatever reason, Mike Bailey got a shit ton of offense in though. But the match should have lasted maybe about at least 5 minutes. But you know how AEW is. Everybody's got to get their shit in, guys. It's so dumb. But it is what it is. Who cares? The Death Riders, they were out next. So this leads us into Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong versus the Death Riders, John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. Did I watch this shit? No, I didn't. Not at all. So who won this match, you ask? The Death Riders. I don't care. This was lame as shit. So Kyle O'Reilly, he showed up. He cleared house. And then he challenged John Moxley to a no DQ match or whatever. No, my bad. A no holds barred match. This is lame. This is stupid. Whatever. I don't care about this shit. Fuck this shit. This is a waste of time. Moving on. So Brodito, they're backstage. They address FTR's actions as of late. Brody King says the FTR has proven they're one of the best tag teams in the business, but they have not proven that they can beat Brodito. And at Full Gear, the pair will remain, they'll retain their tag team championships. And Bandito says that Brodito never stops fighting. Okay, that's fine. Moving on from that, Mercedes Moné, she shows up in a backstage segment. Well, not even a backstage segment. It's just she's arriving to the arena in Boston with all her gold and stuff. Yawn, who cares? I don't care. This was on Collision. This was Collision nonsense. Moving on from that. So, Kenny Omega is backstage. He addresses the Don Callis Family and the Young Bucks. He says that things have become all too personal with them, and the money on the line is nothing compared to what Kenny Omega wants to do to them. Pause. Kenny Omega tells Don Callis and his crew to rest up. And until Saturday, good night, good bang. Whatever. Good night, goodbye, bang. Whatever. I don't care about this shit. Who cares? It's not important. Moving on. This leads us into Timeless Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa. They defeat Riho and Alex Windsor. So, match was fun, I guess. I really wasn't paying attention with this shit. So they advanced. Whatever. I don't care. Although I'm a fan of both Mina Shirakawa and Tony Storm, but I just don't care about this. Moving on. So, the Don Callis Family, they're on television once again, backstage. This time with Kyle Fletcher. So, both Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe have a face-to-face. So, Kyle Fletcher looks forward to beating Mark Briscoe and helping him see what a new family looks like, but Mark Briscoe cuts him off saying that he fights for his family every single week, whether it's his family at home or the conglomeration. He said when he agreed to the stipulation, he knew that failure was not an option, So this Saturday, he will not disappoint his family. In fact, he's going to make his family proud. So then he's attacked by Okada and Hechicero. They both hold up Mark Briscoe. Don Callis tells him that he'll see to it the Mark's kids are made orphans. And Kyle Fletcher then thanks the pair for not agreeing to no physicality. Whatever. I don't care about this shit. Okada says that he was happy to do this since Takeshita would not. So, whatever. I don't give a fuck about this. This is lame. Moving on. So, Pac, he is backstage cutting a promo. Yes, Pac has been there since day one, basically. I wish that he would actually move on from AEW and go to maybe like TNA or whatever. But he says that he's wanting to give Darby Allin an apology for not breaking his neck like he promised he would. Still burned as Darby, as no one has heard from him. He says that at Blood and Guts, he maybe took things a little bit too far before telling Darby that if he has any backbone, he should answer his question. At Full Gear, he just wants it to be legit competition, no games, no weapons. Because when everything about Darby is stripped away, he's no match for a legitimate athlete like Pac. Okay, that's fine there. This is cool, but this should not take place at Full Gear. This should be on Collision, really. Or Dynamite. But what do I know? You know, you got to get Darby on the card. Clearly, Darby's going to win this. Like, why would Pac win this at all? Why would he? Moving on, main event of the evening. Hangman Adam Page defeats Tatsuya Shibata. Didn't watch this match, didn't care. I don't give a fuck. Post-match, so, basically, Hangman just says some words to Samoa Joe, and then that was it. He didn't really say much of anything. So, Hangman tells Samoa Joe that he's telling him to look at what happened to Shibata before saying he's not afraid to remind Joe what happened the last time he was locked inside of a steel cage with somebody. And then that was it. So, whatever. I don't care about this garbage at all. Who cares? Dynamite was just boring. It was just boring. Yawn. All right, let's go ahead and get into the predictions for Full Gear. We have 13 matches, and this actually just seems like something that would take place on Collision or Dynamite. That's really what Full Gear is shaping up to basically be. We got a bunch of pre-show matches. I'm not really going to go over those at all, really. So let's just go with the main card stuff. So, Darby Allin versus Pac. Darby's going to win that one. Babes of Wrath, which is Will Nightingale and Harley Cameron, versus the Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and Sky Blue. And also it's gonna be a fatal 4-way match. Thomas Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa versus Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir. I'm gonna go with Thomas Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa advancing. Moving on from that, John Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. No holds barred. Who cares? I'm guessing Kyle O'Reilly's gonna win this one. I don't give a fuck. Moving on, Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher for the AEW TNT Championship. If Mark Briscoe loses, he'll be forced to join the Don Callis family. Mark Briscoe has to win this. So there's that. Moving on. $1 million trios match. It's going to be Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express, Jack Perry and Luchasaurus taking on the Young Bucks, Matt Nick Jackson and Josh Alexander. Omega and Jurassic Express are going to win that. Who cares? Moving on from that, the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal for